So tipping is a corporate scam. So we're going to go to our dark yellow sticky. Dark yellow? Mustard colored sticky? Doesn't matter. So I looked it up this morning just to make sure. So tip minimum is like $2.12 an hour. $2.12 an hour. Dude, you can't even buy like a king-size candy bar with that. And by the way, that's before taxes. So after taxes, you still can't buy yourself a king-size candy bar. People are supposed to live on that. Okay, first of all, minimum wage way too low. Tip minimum shouldn't be a thing. That's what I'm going to focus on, not the minimum wage. I'll touch the minimum wage another time because it looks like the 515 has essentially died for now, which makes me very sad. But tip minimum is what I'm going to go for now. This is what I'm going to talk about now. So, just so you know, according to federal law, in order to be eligible for tip minimum, or to be eligible to have your wages reduced by $5.13 an hour from the federal minimum wage, all you need to make in tips per month is $30. So if you get a nice tipper one night who gives you $25 and you get $5 more from the rest of your tables or bar stools or whatever, congratulations, you now qualify for tip minimum and your work can be paid at $2.12 an hour. Jeez almighty. Anyway, no one can live on that, is essentially the point. And more importantly than tip minimum just being totally unsustainable for anyone who has to make it and live off of tips, is tipping is a corporate scam. Tipping is essentially a way that corporations get you to pay their workers for you. And by the way, essentially to punish their workers for in a totally arbitrary way. Many studies have been done on tipping, and essentially the conclusion is there is no rationale for tipping. Some people tip a lot, some people don't tip a lot. Some people tip on the tax, some people tip without the tax. There is no set of rules for when people tip, why people tip, how people tip, whatever. It doesn't matter. Essentially, there's no consistent scheme as to why people tip or how tipping works. But the only thing that is really consistent about tipping is that it saves the corporation from having to pay their workers what would be a full minimum wage. And by the way, as I said earlier, $7.25 is not livable, putting that issue aside. Apparently, the idea of tipping came in the Great Depression, where corporations didn't want to pay their workers a full wage any longer, so they pretty much said, hey, well, if you treat the customers real nice, then they'll give you extra money instead of just having to pay for their meal. And by the way, the first thing that you get from people who are like, outlaw tipping, that's crazy. People make their money off of tipping. It's true, people do make their money off of tipping. What I'm saying is they shouldn't. But the thing that's important about that is essentially the argument that's made is, oh my god, the price of food is gonna go up. I saw this ridiculous tweet. I forget who it was, so I can't credit them, but it was something along the lines of like, oh yeah, when your server makes $15 an hour, prepare for like a $38 like entree or something. I think it was like Taco Bell taco, or like a $38 Taco Bell taco. Which, first of all, $38 for taco? Really? You gotta pay the person behind the counter $15, you're gonna raise the cost of a taco to $38. That doesn't even make any mathematical sense. It's so stupid. Okay, even if it wasn't stupid, and I'm just like clowning on this random person who I can't even cite. Most people would be comfortable paying a little bit more for the food. And the truth is, you would only pay a little bit more for your food because the cost of raising wages is spread out amongst a variety of other costs. Restaurants price things in different ways. And by the way, from a strictly capitalist business owner perspective, there are lots of ways to do business that you can be profitable. You can sell by volume. You can sell. You can price by individual item. You can price bundles of items such that you make a profit. Right? There are lots of ways to make profit. Also, you can cut costs. Now, some of those costs are people. So there's concerns like, oh my God, there's going to be a job loss. So here's the thing. There is actually some truth in whether raising people's wages will cut jobs. But actually, when you look a little deeper into it, the results are really fascinating. So it turns out when you raise the wage, and this still with tip minimum, so let's talk about restaurants, right? We're talking about tips. So if you raise the wage to a living wage, there are job losses. But you know what's happening? People who can afford to only work one job are quitting their second and third jobs. So it looks like a job loss because there are fewer jobs that are being taken, but more people can be employed because there are still positions, right? So and look, some of the positions may be scrapped, but the truth of the matter is a lot of those positions will remain open and other people will take them. And then you'll have more people making a living wage and more people employed. You could actually make an argument, and I think it's perfectly reasonable to say that raising the minimum wage will actually create jobs. And not like create new jobs, but will create new openings for jobs that already existed so that more people can work. And I actually think that you will reduce unemployment by raising the minimum wage, by raising the wage in general, because people should not have to work, more than one job to get by. So I think I got through all the points I wanted to make there. Tipping is a corporate scam. Essentially, tipping started during the Depression. Tip minimum is $2.12 an hour, and in order to qualify for it, you have to make $30. Essentially, for now, tip when you can, tip as much as you can, because these people are really struggling. But when you're not tipping, advocate for getting rid of the tip minimum, and of course, always advocate for raising the minimum wage.